I quit. No, I'm not quitting carnivore, but I've quit something and I'm going to quit something else. And we're going to talk about all that today while I take this walk. Hello everyone, Semi-Retired Bob here. I talk about the carnivore diet, all things related to the carnivore diet, and miscellaneous odds and ends. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Thanks for stopping by. What you're watching is you're watching me walk. I know that doesn't seem super exciting, but if you consider 2.5 years ago, I could barely stand for a couple minutes without severe pain. Now I'm out here walking every day in any kind of weather. It makes a little bit more sense. And stay tuned today, because I might actually fall and bust my butt. I'm not walking super fast, because I originally came out and started this walk in my tennis shoes and realized that this fog is actually putting down a light coating of ice on everything. I didn't get my spikes out because it's not that bad yet, but I did go back in the house and put on my boots that have just a little bit more traction. But I could still fall and bust my butt, so stay tuned. Maybe we'll do that today. If you're returning to the channel, welcome back. It means a lot to me that you spend just a few moments of your day with me. I would like to ask everyone to help me out just a little bit. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. Drop down in the comments and say, "Hi, Bob." And if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. All these things are absolutely free and help me get the word out that it's never too late to change your life. I'm 61 years old, and I'm doing things I couldn't do when I was 40, like out here walking almost every day in any kind of weather. I'm a little disappointed. It was supposed to be warmer this week, but then they took all that out of the forecast. And while it's not supposed to be super cold, it's like 23 out right now, which is not bad. But this fog, as I'm walking, I can feel I'm not going to try and go fast or jog up this hill today, because even with my boots on that have pretty good traction, I can feel just a little bit of slippage in my feet. So I'll just take it easy, get my walk in. I already did 2 sets of squats with my it's like 47 pounds, my 47 pound power station. And I did 2 sets of chest pulls, where I'm just basically bent over slightly and pulling that power station up to my chest and back. So the only thing left to do today after I get home from this walk is I want to get 2 sets of push-ups in, and then I will have done pretty much my whole workout. There's some stretching and stuff that we're not going to talk about, but the 3 main exercises I'm doing are squats, pull lifts, and push-ups. But anyway, let's get on into this thing. It's such an insidious thing. I didn't realize how far I was getting into drugs, prescription drugs. I was thinking about this last night and realized, as I was looking at the pain, I keep that one pain pill in a bottle next to my desk to remind me that I don't want to go back. And I kept remembering all the times I'd go do stuff with my friends And apparently they could tell, because they would make comments like, oh, Bob's had a little extra happy pill today. And of course I didn't realize it at the time, how deep into the drugs I was getting. And those were just the pain pills. And it all starts innocently enough. You know, I got out of the Army because I had gout. And then the civilian doctor that I found, well, said, here, take this pill. It'll help keep your gout attacks under control. And of course, that didn't work out quite as well as I had hoped, or he had hoped. So, I don't even know how long later it was, 6 months, a year, whatever it was. Then he said, well, if you're still having gout attacks, let's try this pill too. And now I'm taking 2. And then a little while later, he's like, well, since these drugs aren't doing the job all the time, when you have a gout attack, here, this will help it. Really good NSAID, by the way. I'm trying to remember the name of it now, but Indocin. Most of you younger people have probably never heard of Indocin, but those of us who are older, that's the original prescription strength NSAID. And now I'm taking 3 drugs. And of course, as time goes on, you know, I don't realize that it's actually the drugs that are doing it to me. But my blood pressure starts to creep up. And so that I can pass my DOT, he gives me a blood pressure drug just to lower it a little bit. And so on, and so on, and so on. It's very insidious how the drug companies get their claws into every aspect of our life. And then I wake up one morning and I'm taking 13 pills in the morning, 9 at night, plus pain pills throughout the day. And I didn't realize it at the time. But now I do. That's no way to live. Am I saying that you should all just give up all your prescription medications? Well, no, of course not. Get off the ones you can in a sensible, reasonable fashion. Because that's what I've already quit. I don't take any drugs anymore. Not a single prescription. And that's all thanks to Carnivore. There are some people out there that are probably going to need to stay on drugs for quite a while. And I just, you know, I don't believe them when they say, here's a drug and you're going to have to take it for the rest of your life. Because they said that about diabetes drugs. They said that about gout drugs. They said that about blood pressure drugs. The blood thinners from my heart surgery. The statins, both before and after my heart surgery. That I think the statins, of course there's no way to prove it, but I think the statins that I'd been on for about 10 years prior to my heart surgery contributed greatly to me needing the heart surgery. That little bit of slip I'm feeling every now and then under my feet is starting to wear on my knees just a little bit, but we're going to keep going because we're almost down to the next turn, which is the halfway point So I might as well go ahead and go all the way around the block. But the one thing I saw once that made perfect sense to me, now, I wouldn't have understood it 3 years ago before I started on this journey. But now I do. It's just a simple meme that said, I have never run into anybody taking massive amounts of drugs like I was, saying, wow, I'm taking all these prescription meds and I feel fantastic thanks to those drugs. It's time we start pushing back against the system. I've said this before. The United States is what, 4% of the world's population? Yet 70% of the prescription drug profits. There's something seriously out of whack here. But the thing I'm working on quitting, I know I've done 2 30-day without challenges and 1 60-day without challenges, and I don't think coffee really affects me, but I'm not going to just quit coffee cold turkey. What I'm going to do is, just like I did with the Diet Coke back in the beginning, for those that have never seen that, Nisha Berry talks about it. You start off by adding just a splash of sparkling water to your Diet Coke, or in their case, Dr. Pepper. And then slowly you decrease the amount of Dr. Pepper or Diet Coke in the glass and add more and more sparkling water until you just give it up. I was getting close and thought I would need more. I bought another 6-pack of Diet Coke bottles once upon a time, and I never touched them. I don't even drink sparkling water. I just drink water. But that really did work. So what I'm going to do with the coffee is, I started this morning. I made it just a little bit weaker. Not a lot weaker. Just a little bit weaker. And over the course of the next few weeks, or even a month or two, we'll see how long it takes, I'm going to start slowly cutting back on how strong my coffee is, so that hopefully it gets weak enough at some point where I just say, what's the point? And I just get rid of it. And once I get rid of it, I'm going to try and do an entire year without coffee, just to see. Because I think if I wean myself off of it slowly, instead of just doing a 30-day or a 60-day challenge, because the very first thing I did on the morning after any of those challenges was I made myself really strong coffee, because that's the way I like it. So, I don't think it has any bad effects on me, but with all of the doctors that I trust out there, or not all, but a great deal of the doctors I trust saying cut out coffee, well, I'm going to try it just to see how it goes. And after I've been off of it for a year or so, if I try it again, I'm going to go back to the week. But hopefully I won't need to go back to the week. I can just stay off of coffee completely. We'll see what happens. Like I said, I don't think there's any really bad effects on my body, or any effects at all that I can notice. But doing it this way as we move forward through the next year, we'll see. Because maybe there's something out there that will take more than a 30-day abstinence or a 60-day abstinence. Now, am I saying everybody out there should join me in this? No, of course not. As I've always said, when you're first getting started, even up, through your first couple of years, you've already given up so much. Now, granted, it's all stuff that you didn't really need, and I'm sure you feel better now. But when you're first getting started in those first couple of years, you're really, you've given up so much. You need something to kind of ground you. Or I've heard people that just went all the way and cut out everything. They're like, gosh, I feel like I'm just kind of floating through space because there's nothing from my old life left. Well, if you're a coffee drinker or a tea drinker or whatever it happens to be, until you get 90 to 95% of where you want to be, there's no reason to give up those little things like coffee or tea. But I'm coming up on my 3-year mark. So it's time for me to give up coffee just to see what happens. Well, anyway, I've rambled on enough for today. I'll have a few more thoughts when we get back up to the house. But for now, let's have a little music. the music. Oh, this has been really tough. Some tips for walking through your neighborhood. If you realize after you're too far from the house to change again that you probably should have put your spikes on because the ice is much worse than you thought. Walking on the grassy strips gives you much better traction. And then the joints of the sidewalks, there's enough separation, at least here in Nebraska, that you can catch a little bit of traction on the concrete joints as you're crossing the driveways. But be prepared. This walking slowly, gingerly, and through the grass makes walking a lot harder than just walking on the sidewalk. Right now, after one lap, about a 1.5 mile lap there, my legs and back are starting to feel like I've done 3 or 4 laps without resting. This walking is really hard. Now, for those of you that stayed tuned and hoped that you would get to see me fall, I apologize for not obliging you. But if I can find the footage right about here, I'll go ahead and insert the footage from my trail fall. And, oh man. Now the camera's gone. There it is. Oh, good grief. Okay. I don't think anything's broken. Fall number 1 in the books. Coming back up the driveway here. Oh man. Yeah, so don't be, as much as you can help it, don't be part of the population that's contributing 70% of pharmaceutical profits. I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on TV. I'm just a retired truck driver. And there may be some meds that I don't know about that are either impossible to get off of or much, much harder. I know Dr. Barry talks a lot about mental drugs. I think it's called SSIs. And those can take a really long time to get off of. So just be aware. It can be a long, slow journey, but the sooner we can get everybody to stop being part of that 70% profit, the sooner they'll stop being an influence on every moment of our lives in this country. Hopefully some of what I said today made sense. That's what I've got for you today, folks. Don't forget, get out there, be 1% better. Today, tomorrow, every day. Have a great day, folks. I'll see you in the next one.